Hello everyone and welcome back to the Brightworks and another match of Beyond All Reason. And I do really mean welcome back to the Brightworks. I'm finally, after a very long vacation, finally back in the old humble abode. So if the audio sounds a little bit different, yeah, it's the acoustics of the room. You might be able to tell. I know we've got some audio files out there that might be able to immediately pick up on that. But anyways, very excited to be back. It's been a long drive today. It was about 6 hours of driving. I'm very excited to watch some games of Beyond All Reason. This one definitely caught my eye because it's got some players that have been known around the Brightworks for a little while here and that I'm excited to check out. Why don't we meet our red team leader? Today, spawning as a Cortex commander, goes by the name of Vanaja, usually a pirate of the high seas. Instead, today, going to be showing us what he's got. 35 open skill, silver tail of chevron. Seems a little bit low there. I'm wondering if maybe this is a Smurf account or something. That feels very low for how good Vanaja is at this game, but hey, maybe up and coming very quickly. Either way, gonna be playing bots this time as we are playing on Bismuth Valley, a map with no water. It looks like kind of maybe there was once water long ago, eroding the surface of this purple-laden landscape. But no longer is there any, so bots and vehicles are going to be the prominent source of combat unit here on the game. You Want Geo cries out SK10, looking to share with their red team leader. Interesting choice right there. Yeah, I guess you could lend this Geo to your other teammates to help them get their economies up and running. Very interesting. All the way on the other side of the map, spawning in exactly the opposite position here, it's none other than Cage Kaut. Gonna be playing as the blue Cortex commander as well, also going into bots. So basically a mirror matchup right here, a diagonally mirrored matchup right here as the red and blue team leaders do both go into the same exact tech tree, same exact unit pass, same exact sort of economy. Gonna be pushing forward here pretty aggressively, I imagine, using those grunts to try and gain an early lead against our opponents. It's gonna be Rajpaj, the hot pink commander here, going up against the blue team leader of Cage. Already sending a couple of those rascal across the map to try and find some damage. I don't mind it, but you have to be so careful with these vehicles. It's so easy to accidentally spend all of your metal, and then suddenly you find yourself in a really tricky situation where you don't have enough metal to build any build power, you don't have enough metal to build any wind turbines, you can get yourself stuck in these ruts really easily. It's one of the reasons why I prefer the bots. I feel like it's a little bit easier to avoid doing that sort of thing. Grunts coming out of the map right now for Cage as we slowly start to see an expansion. We see wind turbines coming up over the place. Wind speed pretty good on this map, ranging from 0 to 15, but with an average wind risk of 11.8, or a wind risk that is of 11.8. It means that you're going to be pretty good as far as the wind skew goes for whether you're Cortex or Armada. Cortex with those slightly cheaper solar panels, though, those advanced solar panels, definitely worth investing. Well, the regular solar panels are a little cheaper, too. 5 metal cheaper. It's not tremendous, but it might make the difference. It's an extra unit or two here and there, depending on how many of them you build. Grunts blasting down the rascals over here, but the Incisor, definitely going to be enough to, well, you know, I say that. Enough to push back, I was going to say, but yeah, those grunts did threaten back that light tank quite nicely there. Always underestimating the grunts I am. As an Armada enjoyer supreme, I definitely tend to underestimate the humble grunt and its prowess for devastation. But it is a very powerful unit, especially for its extremely low cost. It's one thing that the Cortex scientists definitely got right, was the low cost spammability of the humble grunt. Pawn right here trying to defend against ticks, always a little bit sketch. Yeah, we do manage to deflect 2 of those. That's nicely done right there by Jurgen, the Seafoam Green commander here for the blue team. Deflecting ticks with pawns, always a little bit sketch because, of course, the pawns fire those plasma beams. It's no guarantee that the plasma beam will ever, or rather, yeah, the little plasma projectile will ever hit, right? Those are way less accurate than the laser beams are, so grunts typically considered better for dealing with these ticks. We do have the construction turret. The construction turret can dismantle a tick in a couple of seconds here. Ooh, no reason these mechs should be going down right here. A little bit of a lack of APM from Billy Huxile, the zeroed open skill bronze chevron hero right here, hailing from the United States. Trying to find a way to shut this tick down, but already it's killed 3 out of the 4 metal extractors, and I do believe it's going to get the 4th. Billy, if you're out there watching, what I'd recommend is you select your build tower and then hit E to reclaim and just click on that tick. You'll reclaim it and it'll all be done. You could have done that immediately and it would have shuttled this down. That, or if you want to get really technical, you can also self-destruct your mexes. That will also kill a tick. Any option is the correct option, but at this point, this hero tick in the backline has already ravaged the economies. My goodness, it's going for more kills. Yeah, sure, why not? Get another metal extractor here. Pawn will be pulled to deal with it. Ooh, it escapes. The smallest, humblest unit on the field, but doing way more damage than anything else, any of the other expensive units that were pumped out right there. Already managing to pop a whole bunch of these metal extractors. Jurgen with a pawn in place here. Actually, good forethought right there. Keeping unit in the back to defend, realizing his teammates might not be able to clean up that tick. And this hero tick will manage to get a couple more kills here, depending on these mexes and if they explode. Oh, they do finally bring down that tick. My goodness. That tick went on a rampage. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mexes down. My goodness. Extreme value for a tick, considering they're only 17 metal apiece compared to the 50 metal per metal extractor. Decent engagement right here for the Lavender Commander. Billy trying to keep the forces in a decent fight. Turned on its head right there, though, with that engagement of the 2 grunts versus the 2 pawns. Now we have a couple more pawns running forward right here. The tank trying to hold the line here as well. Needs to get a little bit more aggressive, I would say. Grunts in the backline right now for Rajpaj. Yep. Reed Sweet not going to give the Hot Pink Commander the time of day in order to keep this lab up and running. We've got the constructors trying to repair it as much as possible. Medium tank pushed out of the lab. Oh, we are in a lot of trouble, though. Grunts rapidly blasting down that lab. It will fall. Nicely done. And that's the blue team leader taking away all production power right here from the Hot Pink Commander. Now leaving the Hot Pink Commander with essentially nothing on the front line, save for the commander itself and a single missile truck. That is just brutal. Yeah, Grunt in the back line also popped the metal extractors. Just a little bit of salt on the wound. We can always go for another constructor on the front, another construction building, vehicle, or bot lab. I think we definitely need to see it. I can tell my APM is running low here. I think I need a cup of coffee, a late night cup of coffee. Usually these videos go up at midnight my time. It is currently 11:25. A little bit behind the curve as far as that's concerned, but certainly trying my best to bring you the very best and beyond all reason every single day, even if it kills me. To the bitter end, I say. Shrek 3 on DVD, love that movie. I think Shrek 2, nah, I don't know. The thing about the Shrek movies is you can watch them in any order, and no matter what order you watch them in, they just get better and better. Anyway, Shrek 3 on DVD here, the cyan green commander, with about a buttload of aggravators here. That's 10, 11, and more in production on the front line here. Frontline laboratory, building all that, quite nice. Means we can eco safely in the back line with loads and loads of room. Very nicely done. Shrek 3 on DVD, going in for the kill on Ozlex. Ozlex commander in a ton of trouble. Ooh, T-guns are nice. 1% HP remaining on that commander, my goodness. Just a single blast from the LLT gun right here on this commander's sidearm will be able to bring it down. Oh, Ozlex has to be so careful. Oh, he's not paying attention. Boom goes the orange commander. Beautifully done right there by Cage. Paying attention to his lane and his lane buddy and managing to bring down the orange commander. Now setting Shrek 3 on DVD up nicely to continue marching forward, claiming and reclaiming, and even, jumping directly into T2. All right, not bad. You know, we've got tons of metal, so I feel like this makes a lot of sense going ahead and just jumping straight into it. As soon as we start, whoa, a little bit of, oh, my DPI is too high. There we go. Yeah, I mean, as soon as we reclaim all this, that's basically a T2 lab right there. It's half a T2 lab, but you deconstruct your T1, and you basically got the full T2 up and running right there. I think is what we need to prioritize. We do have a couple of res bots coming out here, maybe to reclaim all this, maybe to reclaim some of these aggravators, which are no longer useful. They've served their purpose, and now would be much better served as, ooh, killer T-guns right there by LLT City, by the way. Caught him out of the corner of my eye right there, but LLT City blasting down about 5 medium tanks with the D-gun set. Nicely done. The aggravators, going to be much better served, their metal that is, as a couple of Sheldon rather than just a couple of aggravators, or as a T2 metal extractor. Obviously that pays itself back quite quickly here as well. Yeah, we're still producing out of the T1. I'm not sure I like this. I think we can be a little bit more aggressive because we've got such a massive standing army. Yeah, I think Shrek 3 on DVD can really afford to be more aggressive here. I'm not sure why we're being so slow on the T2 transition. There we go. We do have the T1 lab now finally being eaten up here. Economy continuing to expand in the backline. This is exactly what we're hoping to see. Cage also going for T2 at the same time. It's a little bit sloppy. Typically, priority should just be given to one player, then you go ahead and boost out the lab, just like you see right here, SK10. Using the commander to boost this lab rather than worrying about production at home. I mean, we do have production at home, but it's mostly just grunts and pawns, and in fact, it will even be reclaimed at this point. It's exactly what we're hoping for. Twitcher now headed to the front lines. We do have the T2 constructor here, building those T2 mexes, trying to get the high-quality mexes up and running first and foremost, and then following the mexes up later on with a little bit more. The further back mexes. Sorry, that was not well put here. Brightworks is drained, confirmed. The T2 advantage is swift over here on the northern side. Tons and tons of metal, thousands of metal for Billy Hale. pile, however you pronounce it. Yeah, swept away in T1 right here. About 2,000 metal worth of T1 forces and some more up and coming. Not to mention the labs and all that sort of stuff. It'll quickly get very efficiently dismantled by the T2 though, so you have to be so careful. Oh, Fiend is not microed, unfortunately, but a lot of these units are standing still. If Rocketeers can get a connection to that big bowl of units, I think they'll be happy with it. Yeah. One of the problems with having more units is it's also a larger target to hit. Sheldon now coming out, and they're going to do wonderfully against this T1. They'll be able to whittle it down with effectively no retaliation as long as they're microed properly. It's a race against the clock. The southern side crumbling quickly here. Shrek 3 on DVD pushing aggressively with these T1 units and using the res bots to make up the difference. Keeping these units alive is paramount to success here. Those res bots giving each other a little back massage. Making sure to try and keep each other alive right here. Yeah, Orange Commander trying to target down those res bots, but it's so costly because it's just one more shot after another that's not being spent, taking out the aggression units. Beautifully microed right here with the Orange Commander. Wonderfully done. Very, very wonderfully done. Trying to target the right thing. In the end, though, the power of the res bot is too much. Resurrect command is issued right here to get some of these bots up and running again. Aggravators will continue stepping forward. This is a daunting prospect. The undead army now marching towards your facility. You do have to be careful. Those twin guards can defend against Rocketeers, so you do have to be a little bit wary of that. Aggravators here, just a handful of them from Cage Coat pushing forward right now as well. Middle of the map locked in a deadly stalemate. We've got the aggravator firing away at a bunch of the static defense. We've got everybody cowering behind their long range and short range, LLTs, HLTs, all that sort of stuff. Northern side crumbling quickly though. A couple of Fiends have broken away. They're looking for metal extractors. They're looking for valuable units. A little bit mismicroed. I feel like they could go down here and snag these mexes fairly easily. Only takes a single burst for a Fiend to clean up a mex there. Resbot's now eating up this T1 army. Ah, it's so juicy. Eating up all that metal and turning it into T2 units is so juicy. They're going to be tremendously efficient against any T1 that's sent out here. Fiend, there we go. Does get the mexes and manages to kill the Constructor too. Hounds are out and running. Not the worst unit against the Fiend here. Both Fiends eventually cleaned up, but not before forcing the armies back so that the Sheldon can continue marching. Resbots have been beautifully utilized on the northern side here for Vanaja, who's just eaten up that entire frontline production center and is now using it to fund more and more of those fire spitters moving forward to burn down the purple troops. We've got ourselves a yin-yang match. The red team leader pushing forward as aggressively as possible to try and make up the difference that the losing side on the southern side has to try and account for. Fiend's now blasting away at these labs over here. Uh-oh. Rajpaj in a lot of trouble. Fiends will melt a commander quicker than anything else. Aggravators putting on the pressure still. As Cage has walked the commander all the way to the other side of the map. My goodness. A beautiful, beautiful commander walk right there. Ooh, as the hot pink commander does go down. Medium tanks threatening Shrek 3 on DVD. Oh, just barely don't manage to kill that commander in green. Aggravator still firing away though. Commander on the verge of blasting down this base with LLTs here. Wow, what an aggressive push from Cage. Using that commander, keeping it alive, and using it for the reclaim, and eventually to capture all these mexes as well. Beautifully done. T2 Constructor moving forward to capture the mexes as well. The economy is looking stellar. Right now the economy for Cage Coat is 60 metal per second and 1,000 energy per second. Economy for the red commander, 83 metal per second and 1,600 energy per second. So slightly higher energy production right here for the red commander, slightly higher metal production for the blue commander. Vanaja is moving forward with the T2 Constructor to capture these mexes though. Not bad. Once those mexes are up and running, you really can start to pump out some of those more expensive units. Fiends in the backline still wreaking havoc here as well. Oh no. Just like that, wind turbines, metal extractors, anything T1, the Fiends are going to be more than happy to burn to smithereens. Cleaned up eventually, but this base has already been burned to bits. The tank losing the entire facility, all production is gone. T2 lab at one point eaten up here. Now we're going for another T2 lab rather than resurrecting this one. Feels like a little bit of a misplay there from Jurgen. Resurrecting saves you the metal. Well, gives you back the metal, maybe the better way of putting that. Shrek 3 on DVD as well as Cage pushing forward right here. racing the red commander for any way to get into the backline right now. Yellow Fiend's going to be sent downward to try and stem the flow of units northward into the bases. Fiend's so volatile when they clash with each other, but so powerful that they end up taking down anything that they're fighting with in the vicinity. Oh, one Fiend makes it through. Self-D on the Fiend right there. Very nicely done. When in doubt, self-destructed out. Resbots eating up all these delicious, delicious corpses. More Fiends marching forward, and Shrek 3 on DVD not done expanding yet. Well, maybe done expanding for the time being. Should continue to grab these mexes, though. Ah, there we go. We're sending a T2 constructor forward to grab all these mexes, upgrading all of them one by one. Not a bad idea. Getting those mexes rolling does wonders. Commandos being spammed out here. Interesting. Okay. An interesting choice to go for the commandos here. I wonder if we're going to be using them as mine layers, perhaps? I'm not entirely sure what the commando is supposed to be useful for here. Middle of the map, pardon me, falling rapidly as well. The Sheldon had made very light work of this T1 era static defense. See the HLTs, the commanders, the agitators, all the rest of it going down over here to overwhelming firepower. That's going to be the green commander, tier V, moving forward. As the Sheldon have whittled down basically all of this base over here. These are Dragon's Maw pop-up turrets too, so we do have to be wary of those. All said and done, though, the entire red team is recoiling to try and protect their southern side. Means forces are dedicated away from the fronts, and it gives you a massive opening to push into. Shrek 3 on DVD, setting up a forward spam lab. Gonna try and pump out some grunts right here, not a bad idea. Sending some of those T1 bad boys forward. T2 mechs is up and running all the way along the coast here. We do have a fusion reactor coming up the backline for both of the players. Man, Shrek 3 on DVD and Cage in like perfect synchrony right here. Fusion reactors coming up, mechs is coming up, the push coming up. I wonder if they were communicating in a Discord. I wouldn't be surprised. Usually communication makes the world of difference in Beyond All Reason. If you're looking for a very easy way to step up your game, when you're playing with your friends, just hop into a Discord. I've got one if you don't have one. Link should be down below in the description somewhere. Feel free to join up. There's a load of good people down there as well, in case you're looking for somebody good to play with. Maybe a coach, per se. Plenty of people, I'm sure, would be willing to take you under their wing. We've got some phenomenal players in the Brightworks here. Build power collapsing. Fiend's now marching forward. What were the commandos for? I'm still trying to figure out what these commandos were supposed to be for. I guess just as kind of a random assault unit. They're a cool unit, don't get me wrong, but are they the right one? Oh, you know what? They do decently against Fiends. I can't lie, they do pretty decently against the Fiends. Yeah, their little commando blaster does a decent amount of damage. It's not great though. I'm not sure. I am not sure what the commandos were supposed to be for here. I suppose they can all repair each other too. That's another benefit of the commando. Yeah, you could just hit the repair command and they'll all patch each other back up. I suppose with multiple commandos. Usually I don't think of commandos as kind of a multiple units kind of composition. Usually they kind of are lone wolves, but I suppose, yeah, if you were going to build a whole bunch of them, they could repair each other. I'm going to build some transports over here. Interesting. The plan must be to try and fly these into the base over here of the red commander. Trying to find an opportunity to deploy these commandos wherever on the field that Cage can. Feels like a strange strategy, but I suppose it's well worth it. At this point, with the bases on the northern side completely destroyed by Vanaja, it does make a lot of sense to go ahead and start sending forces in this direction. We do have Fiends all making their way up north here. They're ideally trying to target down this T2 lab, but they haven't quite found it yet. Sprinters jumping on top of Cage's commander. That'll be the end of that blue hero. Down he goes in the blink of an eye as those sprinters do jump on top of all that. More sprinters heading out as well, so we do need to be wary of this. Yeah, Fiends are going to start to clean a lot of this up. We're going to need to see some sort of a response, though. Sheldon whittling down the base over here. Dragon's Teeth, keep things nice and safe. Not bad. Tank to tank, trying to rebuild on the front here, but definitely having a hard time with it. Vanaja's commander has been spotted. Oh, those Fiends are tough to deal with, though. With the flanking bonus engaged from that grunt in the back, the Fiend will be able to take down that commander right there. Very nicely done. Oh, a little bit of a pause on production right there. I think there was a little bit of a misplay. Scorpion turret up and running, though. gonna be too much for those Fiends to push forward into. Scorpion turret's very good after all. One, though, may not be enough. Twitchers trying... Twitchers and build turrets trying desperately to keep each other alive. Scorpion turret really putting in the work more than anything else here, though. And it does go down. Enough forces dedicated north to shut down this production area over here. Twitchers sent running for the hills, trying to just survive. These are massive armies and difficult to control. Trying to balance multiple armies moving across the map and how to make them all work seamlessly together. We do have the commandos all set up over here. One of the units that's been forgotten about. Twitchers over in the corner, still alive. Still quite capable too. They can set up those construction turrets and have a base together in mere moments. Definitely not a unit that's good to forget about. They almost remind me of the Legion Infestor, actually. Not quite so all-terrain, but other than that, they're very, very similar in that respect. They can also build Fiends, which is very powerful. They have a lot going for them. Big Fiend wave mostly shut down over here. Shrek 3 on DVD, trying to punch through. One Fiend does make it. That's all it takes sometimes. Lab in a lot of trouble there, but the Fiend has greater ambitions. Build turrets? We'll disassemble it. Nice catch with the build turrets there. Very, very close call. Whoa, this is a huge catch. Fiends managed to jump on top of the Sheldons right there, cutting off a large portion of the DPS of the Red Army right there. Tons of Fiends still ready to streak across the battlefield right now for Vanaja. He's looking for a good opportunity right here, but the further you dive these Fiends, the more and more metal you're just donating to the enemy. These Fiends need to find value, and soon. There are those Twitchers continuing to set up little laboratories over here. Love to see it. T3 lab up and running. Demons are going to be the name of the game, apparently. Immediately called upon. Fiends continuing to streak across the battlefield, streaming in from all angles. Archangels to defend against the air forces. Archangels are depressing, I would say. Certainly depressing. For their cost, yeah, pretty pathetic anti-air. I would almost say it's worth, if you are in desperate need of anti-air, it's almost worth going for the vehicle transition. Unless you really need it that moment. Going for the vehicle transition into the vehicle trucks makes a lot more sense. Rocket Spider. Oh, and the Brown Commander also in a lot of trouble. Bombers connecting with a huge portion of the red base. No air forces available. And I think that bombing run just about did it for the red team. The resign vote is called, and with Fiends, Bombers, Grunts, Sheldons, and more pushing into the bases right here, I think the red team has realized they've been outscaled. A valiant effort on the northern side. Vanaja finally got the demon up and running, but just a little too late on that T3 hero. There it goes, streaming across the battlefield. Late to the party, but that's okay. Bombers taking out the fusion reactor. Not much more to target down over there. Oh, Commando's being shot down as well, but there they are, finally being utilized. Dropped into the base and gonna start blasting away at whatever they can. E-converters, build power, fusion reactors, you name it. They're more than happy to disassemble it. They've got those mines as well, it's worth remembering. At least they should. Yep. Should be able to put together mines pretty quickly with 3 of them all said and done. Their build range is quite large as well, making them quite formidable. Down goes the fusion. Oh, we're trying to reclaim it. Oh, that's pretty funny. I wonder if we're trying to reclaim that fusion reactor at the last second. Feels like a pointless bit of micro at this point to try and reclaim that fusion reactor, but you never know. Sometimes it may be worth it. We need fusions if we're going to stick in this game any longer here. The demon kind of idle on the northern side right here. Not sure exactly what the red team is still holding on to. The blue team now dwarfing their economy, and there we go. Finally, the towel is thrown, and the red team clutches defeat from the jaws of victory. The win goes to the blue for their overwhelming aggression and wonderful coordination. Shrek 3 on DVD and Cage Count doing a wonderful job on the southern side of Bismuth Valley. Thanks a ton for watching. I sure hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the very next game of Beyond All Reason. Peace out, everybody.